Welcome to Shanghai, China, and the latest edition of Inside GT Asia. Shanghai is now one of the most populated cities in the world, and therefore appropriate that it should attract the highest form of international sport, such as Formula One, and this weekend the most prestigious race car series in the region, GT Asia. Coming into round 11 and 12 of the series, with only one more round in Macau to decide the 2014 championship, tensions are running high, as both the GT Asia and the GTM class are still up for grabs. With 10 rounds gone, Rob Bell and Hamaguchi have 127 points, but their teammates at Clearwater are just 2 behind Sauer and Mock. Rizzo and Anthony Liu are 119 points, and Frank Hughes still in the hunt, just behind. So with 3 races to go in China and Macau, it's Britain's Rob Bell and Japan's Hamaguchi who lead the way for McLaren.
The championship is, we are leading, but I think it's going to be tough to lead after this race. But, you know, again, it doesn't, in some respects it doesn't matter. We are here to race, we enjoy racing, and we will do our best, and that's all we can do.
Let's take a look now at the championship contenders and how they got there. It certainly hasn't been an easy road for McLaren. Right from Korea, in fact at the start of the season, several small mistakes while at the sharp end in those early races. They would never have predicted that they would be in the hunt here in China.
3 spins in 4 races again, so I don't know what to really say.
Things began to turn the right way round for Hamaguchi when he went home to Fuji, Japan. And immediately, the McLaren on pole position.
So I'm quite confident. I'm very confident actually with the car and myself. So it's just going to be something different from past 2 races.
But in the race itself, the heavens opened. And to add to their woes, they were handed a stop-and-go penalty, which ended their run of podium finishes. In Sepang, Malaysia, the humidity stifled their charge for the championship hunt as their turbocharger couldn't get the air they needed to be competitive.
It was way too hot for a turbocharged car. I think GTR has suffered as well.
As well as that, Rob Bell had to compete with an obstacle course of spinning cars as he made his way to the front. And despite being down on power, the McLaren pair left Malaysia after 4 races with their lead intact.
I think I'm in a good position, but I'm not the fastest here. And even if you're the fastest, it's not easy to win this series. So it is really tough.
But then when they arrived in Shanghai, it all came crashing down, quite literally, as Hamaguchi and Rob Bell had 2 major crashes in their McLaren in practice. The first with Hamaguchi was a write-off. They then had to borrow a car from a fellow rival just to keep competing.
It was just my fault. I pushed a bit too much on Astroster, and the car got snapped. I was warned before. I should be careful that part, but I just wasn't being careful enough, I guess.
Ironically, as the Clearwater McLaren pair go into the final rounds, it's their Clearwater teammates, Mock Wen-sung and Keta Sauer, in the Ferrari 458, who are their nearest challengers for the title.
Oh, it's been a very fun season. You know, we started in Korea, which is a new circuit.
Their road to success has been equally dramatic. They set out to be consistent. Sadly, that went out the window in the very first round, when they were taken out.
Not a very good start in Korea with the DNF in the first round, but I think since then the performance have been actually quite good. Right, we've been consistent, 2 race wins.
And the first of those wins came at Autopolis, Japan. A fitting celebration for a man who's been the top Japanese driver in international GT Asia for the last several years, Keta Sauer. They followed that up with another picture-perfect selfie as the Ferrari 458 of Mock and Sauer won again in Fuji in round 5 and backed that up with another podium in round 6.
today, fantastic. It's so difficult to explain my feeling now. Today was a memory day for my racing career.
It's Sepang where Mok is king. They continue to pile on the pressure with another win in round 9, with the championship title firmly within their sights. So going into the Shanghai weekend, the series was wide open, with both Clearwater cars locked in the battle for the 2014 title.
I could not believe already come at the end of the season, because I felt this season went to very quick.
To come into Shanghai with beautiful weather, nice circuit, strong competition, couldn't ask for more, and we're in a position to fight for the championship too, so it makes it even more exciting for us.
Well, before the race it seemed relaxed, but after the break we'll show you how the Shanghai showdown played out. Welcome back to Inside GT Asia. I'm Jonathan Green, reporting for Motorsport Asia as we look back to the highlights of the year so far and follow the stories of those still fighting for the 2014 season. The third pairing, still very much in the hunt, and a surprise package of the year are the hard-charging Chinese driver Anthony Liu and Italian Davide Rizzo in the BBT Ferrari 458. In the bright sunshine of round 1, they set their stall out early with an emphatic double win. They still need to work on the celebrations, Mike.
Well, since the first race in Korea, when we won the first 2 rounds, honestly I saw that it's gonna be a bit easier, and the competition is very high. We did a few mistakes.
Now, one of those mistakes came at Autopolis, Japan, as they ended up hitting a back marker while still on for a podium place. Instead, ended their day in the gravel. Fuji in the wet was a nightmare weekend of penalties and frustrations.
Sometimes a little bit unfortunate with some incidents, but so far quite challenging.
On to Sepang, Malaysia, and it all started well until a spanner was thrown in the works. That would have been useful to undo a stuck wheel nut, which lost them valuable time.
We had a wheel nut problem in the pit stop. I think we lost more or less about 20 seconds.
Then another penalty for an infringement in the pits, despite racing hard again for good points, only to be docked several more. More disappointment for the pairing.
I don't know, it's some kind of secret force out to make sure that we don't win.
On to Shanghai, and despite that up and down season, the BBT team was still in the hunt.
The important thing is always to score points and to stay on the top, and then you try to do your best.
We try to do the best we can and see where we end up.
We all want to win. We all want to win the championships, and they want, we want. So we are here for that. They are working. We are working.
Last but not least, Aston Martin's Frank Yu is also still in the overall hunt for glory, partnering with several fast professional teammates, including factory driver Stefan Muka and Richard Lyons over the year. Frank's driving has also been immaculate.
The competition is really fierce this year, so we counted there's a possibility of 6 teams or drivers that can potentially win the championship, so every round counts, so we're going to do our best we can.
The Autopolis round was a classic example of what's gone on for the Craft Bamboo team. Richard Lyons picking up a black flag in his race. They then went on to win. Just underline the determination of this Aston Martin team.
Coming from P7 to a win was truly unexpected. The luck seemed to be on our side this weekend.
At Fuji International Speedway in Japan, there was good luck and bad luck for Aston Martin. A DNF in round 5, but then again, a podium in round 6. Frank Yu once again putting in another excellent stint for his team. In Sepang in round 7, the Aston was in 7th heaven with another victory, with Frank Yu bringing the Craft Bamboo car home in style. 2 rounds later though, and the champagne had turned to doom and gloom. Pit stop errors and mechanical gremlins forcing them out into retirement from round 9 and a DNF.
Oh, it's been tough every round, basically, but same for everybody. So what we need to do is just score points. Unfortunately, we have a DNF.
Round 10, and with the wet weather before the race, Frank Yu took a gamble and decided to throw caution to the wind and put slick tyres on the wet track. And it proved to be a stroke of genius. For as the track dried out, he carved his way through the field.
Because we had nothing to lose on a Sunday. So we took the risk. I made the right call and put on the slicks.
But with all the good work done, they still fell foul of the rules after having too many mechanics on the grid at the start. They were handed a penalty for that infringement and lost their win.
Well, I try not to think about it. What's meant to be is meant to be. And just gonna get my head down and do the best race I can. And we'll see where we are when we get to Macau. And I really think that the championship decider will be in Macau, not here.
The race to Macau is just as hard fought in the GTM class, where Thomas Fordbach and his teammate George Chow have led most of the way against Jackie Young of Audi. He has 114 points and the battle raged on all the way to Shanghai. The Ferrari of 458 Dane Thomas Fordbach has been the force to be reckoned with all year long.
For me, this event, like you say, is really, really important because I want to try to win the championship here and then go with a fresh mind for Macau. So for me, it's really important to get more than 5 points more than Jackie. And yeah, if I get this, then sure I will be the champion already here. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Of course, they have a really strong car, but I think we can maintain their speed, and we can. I hope that at least we can get the same points like them, and then at least we should get the same points, and then I can do it myself in Macau.
As for Jackie Young, a combination of good driving and clever choice of teammates have put the former champion in fighting mood.
Fight! I'm 10 points behind the leader. Okay, we still have 2 rounds here in Shanghai, which I know the track well, better than him. Okay, at the moment, yesterday practice, we're in the front. Okay, so just hope for the best. Pray for the car, everything is perfect. The next 2 races here in Shanghai, even if I come back before him, each race I only gain few points. So probably by the time I go to Macau, I'm still maybe a couple points behind him. So we have to fight. I have to fight until Macau finish.
So the scene was set in Shanghai for a great weekend of racing, but the nerves were beginning to show, and after so much hard racing over the previous months, none of the contenders wanted to blow it at the final hurdle as they headed for qualifying for rounds 11 and 12. Perfect conditions for fast lap times for qualifying for round 11. And it was the Ferrari of Anthony Liu racing at home in Shanghai who took the initiative, a 147.1 to take the pole for round 11. The McLaren of Rob Bell and Hamaguchi, despite being lent a car by a rival team, weren't out of the woods after Hamaguchi's right-off crash in practice. Now it was the turn of Rob Bell. He too crashed out in a slower car.
I touched the car in qualifying there, so we broke left rear wishbone, which means we were then out of qualifying.
So doom and gloom at McLaren, but all smiles at Ferrari BBT as Liu takes pole at home.
I don't know, maybe I was lucky, don't know. Anyway, ecstatic to be on pole. I hope my teammate will do the same. And we're off to a good start for the weekend, and hopefully we can finish where we started.
Coming into the championship for the first time in China were Bentley. Frenchman Jean-Carl Vernet doing a superb job of qualifying the car in 5th place.
And no, it was good. I mean, we are P5. We were expecting something better.
In round 12's qualifying, all eyes were once again on the BBT Ferrari team as professional Davide Rizzo took to the wheel to try to get a pole for the 2nd time in the weekend for the team. Lou had already delighted his home fans. Could Rizzo do the same? Another brilliant performance by Rizzo to take the pole of 147.1. And this pairing at BBT was serious about winning in 2014.
The best things we can get in Shanghai, I think we are very happy.
Also happy were another Chinese success story just behind in 2nd place, NB Team and Zhang Xin. His time 148.9 in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, the first 2 sessions with the car had the problem, ABS, and then the traction control not working, so we lost the 2 sessions for the qualifying, not for the free pad, and then we didn't have any test, only 2 or 3 laps for the afternoon, and then yesterday the qualifying is not bad. I did the 2nd position.
I think we did okay. We qualified 3. I mean, I think it's one of the good best results in the whole season. So yeah, we're happy.
So as the sun set on Saturday night, it had been a positive day for most. But the racing is what counts. After the break, we'll find out who came out on top in Shanghai. Welcome back to Inside GT Asia. Jonathan Green reporting on the last few rounds before the grand finale in Macau of this year's 2014 GT Asia Championship. Let's look back then at the highlights of round 11. And a frenetic rolling start for round 11 as Anthony Liu tried to defend his pole position, but was sideswiped by Richard Lyons in the Aston Martin as they went into turn 1. Then lost out to the Bentley in turn 2.
Just at that moment I got a little tap on the left from maybe the Audi, and of course that unsettled things, put me wide a little bit, and then from nowhere the Bentley appeared, and it appeared and went straight to P1.
And there was more drama behind Lyons as the Audi of Christopher Mize came to blows. He was hit by another car and that damaged the left rear, and he had to make an early pit stop.
I'm not really wanted to contact, but sometimes the races happen, so I want to say sorry about that.
Portugal's Rui Argus in the Ferrari was doing everything in his power to hold off the hard-charging Richard Lyons in the Aston Martin. But eventually he succumbed to the pressure and spun out.
He might have defended a bit harder. I thought possibly he did maybe over-defend, but in the end he got his and bounced across the curb in the chicane and spun, so it's misfortunate for him, but yeah.
Lyons continued his charge to the front, getting past the BBT Ferrari. But Max Wiese and Zhang Xin in the Aston Martin had problems. Before the pit stop, it started to show, and at the pit stop, it became obvious.
We had a problem with the clutch sensor. The lap before the driver change, I couldn't shift down, and then when I stopped the car can never restart because we lost the clutch.
Meanwhile, falling into the clutches of a Ferrari was the Bentley of Varnelay, as Davide Rizzo, now in the car, went through and into the lead. The Bentley, of course, not scoring points as a guest entry.
My tires are warm and then I can catch them. I saw the Bentley was a bit struggling because they just came out, the tire probably was not that ready and everything, so I saw he was racing also fairly and I tried. The engineer told me keep calm, don't try and do anything. The time he finished to tell me, I already passed, so it was okay.
Frank Yu was now in the hunt and right behind the Bentley. And for a few laps he hounded down the Bentley, the blue flags waved. Then Frank decided that caution was the better part of valour. The Bentley, of course, wouldn't affect his points.
And I was sitting behind its tail for a couple laps. The team radioed me and said, go for it, go for it. And then I thought about it, I said no, because the Bentley is not in the points. So regardless whether we finish P2 or P3, we still get the points for full points for P2. But then if we got position 2, we would have been, the pit time penalty for tomorrow would have been doubled.
The checkered flag then out for round 11. It's an excellent win at just the right time for Liu and Rizzo. Liu winning at home in Shanghai. The pair closing the gap on the leaders even further. On then to the penultimate round of the year, and once again the Ferrari of BBT and Davide Rizzo was on pole position. But it was the NB team's Aston Martin of Zhang Xin who made the better start on the right-hand side. He dived into the lead at the first corner, much to the delight of his teammate Max Wiese. But then disaster for Davide Rizzo, who picked a fight he didn't need with the bulky Bentley. This David and Goliath fight went to the British Bentley as the Ferrari went careering into the pit lane with damage to the suspension. Richard Wee was a wee bit late on the brakes into turn 14 and almost took out his Clearwater teammate Mock. But luckily, he just about avoided him.
I missed the braking point and I almost caused, I almost took my teammate out. And
I was about to turn in already. When I saw his car come through, I decided not to turn in.
I'm going to buy him drinks tonight, so everything's going to be fine.
Thomas Fordback could have done with a stiff drink, as he found himself parked off track with the championship just within his sights. A rare mechanical DNF.
Steering something, I don't know exactly what it is. It broke and yeah, I couldn't go left, so I need to stop.
Meanwhile, it was hotting up on track as Jeffrey Lee in the Audi on the left, Mock in the Ferrari on the right, come to blows, not just once, but twice. And then the final time, Jeffrey Lee just hitting the front of the Ferrari and smashing into the wall in a massive shunt. Needless to say, the safety car was soon out.
Because Jeffrey came up to me on the Audi, hit me from behind, went off the circuit, I rejoined, then he clobbered me again and ultimately took himself out. Right? Then it was quite a heavy crash. I didn't think there was contact that could have easily been avoided. He just didn't leave me any room.
Actually, the accident was quite a big hit, and also at a really wrong spot. So my car was really badly damaged. Well, I guess yeah, we'll have to look into that accident, see what happened there. Yeah.
Safety car's in this lap and we can stop. Okay.
With the safety car period over, everyone pitted together. Except, that is, for the McLaren of Bell and Hamaguchi, who quickly began making up places after their lowly qualifying position. The Bentley stalled on re-entry, blasted off soon enough, and was back in the fray.
Then during the pit stop, we had a problem with the battery and we lost 30 seconds. And then the race was pretty much finished for the win or the podium.
But in the end, round 12's victory went to first-time winners this year at the perfect time at home, MB teams Zhang Xin and Max Wiese. But sadly, their celebrations were short-lived, as there was a sting in the tail in Shanghai, for just as the celebrations for the podium were dying down, Zhang Xin and Max Wiese, as well as Frank Yu and the Aston Martin, were told that their pit stop times were too short. They would be penalised. And that gave Richard Wee and Matt Griffin victory, with Mock and Sauer in second place. So a dramatic end to the final round before Macau here in Shanghai, and plenty to talk about. So after 12 rounds, Sauer and Mock Winsung now hit the front and lead ahead of their teammates Rob Bell and Hamaguchi. Anthony Liu and Davide Rizzo still in the hunt, as is Frank Yu. And in the team's championship, well, champions Clearwater Racing now with 321 points. Craft Bamboo still in second, and Absolute Racing in third place. An MB team in fourth place. Jackie Young leads the GTM championship ahead of Aoki, with Thomas Fordback dropping to third. But let's hear what the drivers think of what's ahead.
Well, to be honest, it's not going to be easy.
it's got to be down to the wire in Macau. So
quite tight between Frank, myself, Anthony, and Hiroshi, right? So there's still four cars that have a chance.
All the championship points will be very, very close in the overall and also in the GTM. I could see until Macau at the end, then we could know who will be the champion for 2014 GT Asia.
So it's still all to play for. And next, it's the daunting streets of Macau and the Macau Grand Prix, the finale of this year's GT Asia 2014 Championship. Should be the fitting end to what's been a brilliant year. Until then, from me, Jonathan Green, I'll see you there. Bye-bye for now.